Every Friday, we're going to introduce a new segment. Well, we're going to introduce a segment now that we're going to do every Friday. I said that a little bit inverse.
That's cool.
Sentence lead dyslexia.
You're safe here.
If that makes sense.
Trust
I appreciate that. Yep. We're going to call it Intervention Friday. It's where one of us will write an intervention letter to an athlete, coach, or somebody that we feel like needs it. Because again, it's all out of love. So I'm going to kick us off with the first intervention letter ever of all time in the history of time. To Russell Westbrook. Russ, what's up, man? Come take a seat. First off, I want to say everyone in this room loves you. We love you, dog. We do, 100%. You're a tremendous talent. But we feel like you need a fresh start. Febreze Brothers style. The Lakers just aren't a good fit. Your game is hurting, and it's hurting all of us, including me. There was so much excitement when everyone saw you, LeBron, and AD bring it together. But it's been about as good of a fit as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and the royal family. Not a good one. The tipping point was when you started talking about the fans making you feel bad. That isn't the Russ we know. The Titan of the triple-double. Old Russ wouldn't care what the fans said, like Westbrook. It's time to move on from LA, or the game may move on from you. Oh, and I need that $10.
I just want to say for the record, I'm not hurt by this. Please stay. Please stay there.
Guys, we talked a lot about Russell Westbrook in LA. But Blain has an interesting theory. Maybe Russ isn't the one to blame. Maybe there's somebody else to blame. Blain, who could that possibly be?
Anthony Davis, are you going to play or what, dog? I mean, you going to play or what? I mean, I go back to it. Has Russ been, it's been almost more in focus now with Russell Westbrook this year because of who he has on his team, right? You go back to the other teams with Russell, triple-dub Russ. Shooting-wise, statistically, he's not having a worse year this year than he's had in past years.
Which, that's not a good thing.
True, he hadn't been the greatest shooter, especially from three. But I'm saying we're not surprised by this.
No.
All right, we're not surprised by this. But I saw a quote, or someone asked Anthony Davis a question. He's like, what was the problem this year? And what are you going to do to change it? He's like, well, me and LeBron are going to get together. We're going to talk about it later. Dog, get on the court. Like, you played barely. The reason they weren't great this year is because you didn't play. You weren't there. Y'all went 11-10 in the first 21 games, I know, but it's a long season, and players just get better and better the more they play with each other.
Do you think if Anthony Davis, I know this is going to sound like maybe somewhat of a stupid question.
I'm good, I can't wait to hear it.
But if I'm trying to speak your language. If Anthony Davis was able to play, do you think it totally changes the dynamic with how Russell Westbrook fit in with LeBron and ID? Do you think, because I know what the plan was. We talked about this with Jonathan Isaac, right? It was LeBron wanted to kind of get off the ball a little bit. Russ, who's a volume ball guy, run the point. LeBron can move around the wing, get open, bring it up when he has to. Russ can create, dish, and then Anthony Davis can be the lob guy and be the guy that kind of controls the front court and you can do different things with. Was it so detrimental not having Anthony Davis playing that there's no fault for Russell Westbrook?
I would say there's some fault there just because I don't think Russell passed the ball as well as he usually does. He committed way more turnovers than he usually does. But not having one of the best bigs in the NBA will always be the biggest.
So you don't think, because here's my argument.
Okay.
My argument is, yes, Anthony Davis would have helped, but this wasn't a good fit from the jump because you got two volume guys trying to do the same thing. There's only one ball. And there's guys that can score without having the ball in there. You look at a guy like Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's a guy that, in my opinion, is much more dangerous when he is creating space for himself, gets it, and shoots it. That's the type of guy I think he is. Russ and LeBron, to me, are both, their styles are, I am going to be heavy with the ball. I need to bring the ball up. I need to set the tempo. If I want to drive and kick. If I want to pull up and shoot one in your face, I'll pull up and shoot one in your face. Not I'm going to be off the ball and run around and create and do all this other stuff. I just never thought it would work because there's not enough shots. And it's not even about the shots. It's about you dominating the ball because that creates everything else that you do. What scares people when Russell Westbrook has the ball? The three-point shot does not scare you. You would let Russ shoot threes all day, contested threes. What scares you is the drive because if he's able to drive around you like he is around most people, he's going to kill you at the glass. you're going to foul him, he's going to dunk it, and then when you try and overhelp or get back too quick, that's when the wide open three starts. That's when the pull-up wide open mid-range starts. That's why I just never thought it was going to work.
And we're not criticizing them for not winning the Western Conference.
No,
They
I'm
were
not
one
saying
of the
that.
top 10 teams out of 15 in the Western Conference. At some point, it is on LeBron. Like, if that's your team leader,
It's on
I know
LeBron?
that he is not a magician to make people better and get back on the court. At the same time, if that's your team leader, you got to figure out a way with Russell Westbrook, okay, another MVP winner.
You can't play
You got
for
to
him,
figure
David.
out a way to be one of the top 10 out of 15.
You can't play
teams.
for him.
Top
What do you
10
mean?
out of
Have you
15?
seen the numbers
I'm not saying he
LeBron's
had to
putting
go
up?
win the West.
He's 37 and
They can't-
putting up
they can't make a
MVP
play-in
numbers.
game?
He can't play all 5 positions.
With Russell Westbrook, 2 MVPs, they can't be top 10 out of 15.
So what do you want LeBron to do?
I want him to be
What do you-
top 10. Figure out a way to get in the
What do you want him to
play-in
score
game.
every point?
If that's
Yeah,
what it
sooner or
takes.
later, someone
If
else
that's
has
what
to
it
do
takes.
something. Russell, you have to do
The
something.
play-in game.
Carmelo, you have to do something.
That too.
Dwight Howard, you have to do something. He can't play for him.
The team leader needs to get the most out of
The
those
team
guys.
leader needs to get the most out of himself on the court, and that's what he's done with the numbers that he's putting up at 37.
He's got to get more out of these guys.
Well,
This is the NBA. This isn't college. You get paid money to perform on the court. And if you don't perform on the court, that's on you, dog. That's not on LeBron
that's
James.
a selfish mentality, man.
Well,
That's a selfish
an
mentality.
individual
This is
selfish
the
mentality.
NBA.
Figure out a way to be one of the top 10 teams in the West.
You know how he figured out a way?
I don't think, in my opinion, I think LeBron probably carried this team about as much as he's carried any team with AD out, and Russell struggling. You can't, again, you put it on, you can blame Anthony Davis the most. I can blame Russell Westbrook the most. You can blame LeBron the most. That's great because it's a problem. It's a 3-headed monster. We're relying on all 3 of them. What I'm saying is I don't put it all on LeBron because in my opinion, when AD goes out, you have got to up your play a ton. LeBron upped his play. Russell didn't up his play. We can talk about Russell shooting as good as he's shot in his whole career this year about when you look at the averages. Well, that's different when you're dominating the ball. Somebody else outside of just LeBron had to carry the mantle. And when you go to be part of the big 3, and the first part, and one of the main parts is out, Anthony Davis is out, so it's a big 2. I think LeBron stepped up to the occasion. Russell Westbrook did not. Because what scares me about what Westbrook is doing, it's not like you're just shooting threes. It's not like you quit. I'm watching Russell Westbrook for the first time in a long time get the ball and drive and look lost halfway to the basket. What makes Russell scary to me is he's a guy that when he dribbles the ball up the court, when he's getting all these triple doubles and he is scaring people to death, I'm talking about like the Grim Reapers behind you scaring you, is that he knows what he's going to do to you. And you only have 2 options. Either you're going to get scored on because he's so decisive and athletic in the air, or you're going to foul him and he's going to go to the free throw line. There's a great example of this that we talked about in college basketball this year. You remember that one game we watched with Purdue? We were all watching it together.
Which one?
When Jaden Ivey was looking insecure. Like
Yeah.
when Jaden Ivey was like, he wasn't trusting the shot. I'm watching Westbrook for most of this year operate almost the same way. Because again, I come up to you on the street. We don't know each other. I come up to you, Cone. I look up at you. Russell Westbrook, what's the first thing you think of when you think about his game? It's not shooting, is it? It's driving and those big-time dunks. It's driving and the crazy up and unders. It's driving, stepping back, and the guy's so worried about you driving, he falls down, and Russ is hitting the mid-range shot. The threes are kind of like the cherry and the whipped cream on top of the ice cream for him, or the cake. I come up and I mentioned Russell Westbrook to you, Blain. What's the first thing you think of? Driving and throwing down the hammer. I played with Russell. Here's how I answer the question. When I get on 2K and I play with Russell Westbrook, I'm not playing with Russell Westbrook to shoot threes. I'm just not. But I think it's funny, and this shows you the dysfunction of the Lakers this year, is that you can blame LeBron.
Well, I'm not solely.
Well, no, I'm talking about you can find blame with all 3 of them. And it is hard if you're Anthony Davis. To me, I wouldn't be out there talking if I wasn't playing.
Is it fixable there? Is this fixable?
I don't think.
these three?
I don't think even if they had all three, David.
Really?
I don't think
Next
even
year?
if they had all three, this is a team that's winning a championship because Westbrook and LeBron are like oil and water. Westbrook was so beat down, he started complaining about the fans. Russell Westbrook's the last guy, in my opinion, that I would think would care about the fans.
What do you say? Can they fix it with this nucleus?
Well, with Russell's contract, I mean, he ain't going nowhere. I think it comes down to what LeBron wants to do. That's what it comes down to. I mean, what do you want to do, LeBron? Because right now you can't really trust AD to stay healthy. You can't trust Russell to do what he's supposed to do, what he gets paid to do, which he is not doing. So if it's LeBron, man, I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. There's one guy who's showed up this year, and that's LeBron James.
What's the Booster Club say? I'm sure it's not good about LeBron. Booster Club's not
Might
good
be.
about LeBron. But no, I think they do got to blow it up. I know with Russell's contract it'd be tough, but you got to make a move, in my opinion. I won't be shocked if LeBron left.
Really?
Tempo says LeBron and Jordan's game evolved over times. Westbrook and Davis did not step up.
Davis?
No, Davis.
Mine?
No, talk about
Oh.
Anthony. Yeah. You didn't step up this year for the
Mine just,
step up.
it didn't evolve.
Sick.
I haven't
Should have
evolved.
stepped up. Good God. Figure it out. Hey, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, go on over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. Check out Crain and Company live every day from 2 to 3 Central, where you can hear us spit it straight.